I personally lived in Winnipeg for a while, so in my own personal experience living in a bigger city, it's more difficult to get a job. In the Pembina Valley area, it's easier to get a job, so it's a good place to start up a family or life in Canada.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the PVLIP podcast. My name is Braden Thiessen. In today's episode, we talk about employment and the struggles to find a job in the Pembina Valley. To help navigate us through that, our special guest today is Adeleke Dada. Adeleke is the employment coordinator at Regional Connections. Thanks for coming on, Adeleke. Why don't you give a short introduction about yourself?
My name is Adeleke Dada, and I'm the employment coordinator. I'm originally from Nigeria, and I've lived in Manitoba for 3.5 years. I've worked with Regional Connection for a year now.
What was the experience like moving to Manitoba, or specifically here in the Pembina Valley?
It was different. Like moving to Manitoba was different because I came in as a student, an international student, and after graduating, the year after, I started working in a non-for-profit organization before I moved to Regional Connection. And I was living in Winnipeg, which is like a bigger city. So the difference is, I moved to a smaller city. I currently live in Winkler, and I work in the other cities around Malden, and also Altona. So it's kind of different, but it's special. Everyone's connected in smaller communities. People, there are better relationships. I'm not saying there are no relationships in bigger cities, but it's more personal here.
Can you kind of explain what your program is, or what you do for Regional Connections?
So I'm the employment coordinator, and what the employment team does as a whole, so I kind of support the coordinate program, the whole programming, and we have lots of functions. Some of them are resume writing, interview preparation, job search. We also do a lot of relationships building with employers in the community. We also have a mentorship program. We also have a credential recognition program. So that's primarily what we do. So we kind of regularly have information sessions with our clients, and we also partner with various service providers to offer those trainings, so we can kind of create knowledge sharing for clients and also for ourselves.
What would you define as a welcoming and inclusive community?
I'll define a welcoming and inclusive community as a community that supports newcomers, new people, not necessarily people coming out to Canada, but also people relocating from other parts, other provinces or other cities in Canada, and having the support they need, being welcoming in the sense that people can integrate and they get all the supports service provide. They have also entertainment, education, translation services, good public transport, healthcare. Those are the parts. Those are on top of my head what I can think about. And inclusive, having their religious bodies available, and also maybe an opportunity to volunteer and also have mentors in the community. So that's how I'll define an inclusive community.
Has there been, in terms of success stories, has there ever been a moment, during your time here at Regional Connections, or in general, as an employment coordinator, has there ever been a moment where you felt like you've made a difference in someone's life, or someone, say, trying to find a job or trying to find something?
Talking about successes and how, collectively, we work collectively, so I won't say it's one particular person on the team. I feel like if it's the entire team, and we have lots of success stories working with clients that have struggled before connecting with us to get jobs. And so I would just like to talk about a client that was coming to us. We had all these intake sessions. We were certain they had the ability to get a job, but they just kept not getting the job. They applied to numerous organizations, and eventually they were able to get a job. And part of that was because we were able to we kind of give it a referral. We kind of spoke to the employment manager and say, hey, we know this client and they kind of, we talked about things we know, things like they're always punctual for their appointments, they're committed, and they really want to have a job. And that was, we're very happy to hear after about 2 weeks or so from the Blues, the client called us and said, yes, I was able to get a job. And, so for us it's a win-win because we're happy to see clients succeed, meeting their own goals, and also us. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're funded to be able to support the whole process, and also the employer is able to meet up their employment needs. So that's one of the success stories I would like to think of that really, I feel we have made a difference. We're making a difference, and we strive to continue to make those efforts going forward.
Why do you think the Pembina Valley is a great place to move for newcomers?
For me, I think Pembina Valley it's a good place because one, the population is not yet there, so it's an opportunity to grow, and there are also lots of jobs and a lot of employers. So my role also allows me to build relationship with businesses, and a lot of times businesses have shortage in some particular positions. They never are able to fill those positions. They never have enough people. And so we know that if newcomers keep coming to the Pembina Valley, it will be able to support, they will be able to fill in those positions, and overall the economy will grow. So it's a collective thing, and those jobs, it will increase the revenue lines of the businesses, and also it will also create value for people that are selling groceries and all that. So it's going to build a bigger economy, people are going to pay more tax, infrastructure is going to get better. So in a nutshell, economic growth would happen. So it's a good place for newcomers to come to because there are more jobs. I personally lived in Winnipeg for a while, so in my own personal experience living in a bigger city, it's more difficult to get a job. One, there's more competition and there are fewer jobs, so lots of people chasing fewer jobs. But in the Pembina Valley area, it's easier to get a job, so it's a good place to start up a family or life in Canada.
Seems like you've been everywhere throughout the world, from Chicago to Winnipeg to Winkler. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Adeleke. Thanks for coming on, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope everyone out there has a great rest of your day. For the PVLIP, I'm Braden Thiessen. Thanks for joining us on today's episode.